Call this meeting to order.
Matt.
Just check the order.
The selection.
Everybody stand and we'll do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance. Flag over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a busy agenda, so I'm gonna kind of move through it, but I don't want to move past our moment of silence for all those firefighters that have lost their lives in line of duty in 2026. And also I want to extend that in your own prayerful way, remember the souls that have lost defending our country over the last month. We'll just take a moment there. Thank you. New business. We have the poster contest presentation. Is that Chief Barry? Is that here? Or are we going to go over there? We do that right now.
Do that now if you want.
Let's do it now.
And we'll take
You guys want to
pictures,
take
yeah.
it? Fine.
So we had the contest, already, we gave out the prizes, so we can.
Yeah, was it on the
come up.
TV?
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take pictures now and then we'll come back, yeah.
Great. If you guys come with us and it's fine. We can do this. Or you can stay here and steal our car keys.
Or someone's pizza.
So where are you? Call this meeting back to order. We have a lot. Thanks for everybody for taking part in the poster contest. I'm gonna be very brief in my remarks. First off, we need to
Then do item 4.
Sorry, we're gonna need approval of last month's minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 12th meeting.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
So just
Oh, wait a minute, one abstain.
one abstain.
That wasn't there.
Yeah, wasn't here, okay. I'll be very brief with my comments. We're gonna talk about the chief a bit, and our future there, and then we're gonna try and set up ourselves to be very prepared for a search for a new chief after during his time and coming to an end, so that's gonna come down the road. But we're also going into our busy season somewhat, and I wanna make sure we're all mentally prepared for that. We have everything. SantaCon's a big one. It's not, it's Clam Jam, and we always handle that really, really well, but I just wanna make sure you all know that we're ready for any feedback, questions, any support you need. And also, we went through this, who would think we'll go through it again because it's been so wet, but last year was an extremely dangerous time here with how dry it got. I think we've all got to be cognizant of that. We're going to that season, right? Summer, spring, summer, going to the fall. So it's coming. Let's all be aware of that. And I think if you all could kind of, it doesn't be this month, but like talk to us about that going forward. The social media posts you're going to put out there, because I think were extremely helpful last year. Okay, especially around the Merritt Parkway and what have you. Let's just put that in our head. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about as chairman. And I'll pass it off to the chief.
Thank you, Chairman. So we always look at the state. The state gives us our posture on the brush fire situation. Whenever it gets into that critical nature, we usually get a heads up from the state, and then we start a social media. So it may not happen this year. It doesn't happen all the time, so let's hope it doesn't. But if it does, we have our documents from last year. We'll just renew them, and we'll renew the social media content. Last year, we had a lot of people listening, and what we did is we had to do some proactive moves, as saying that there's no outside burning, no outside fire pits, and things like that were more discretionary things. So if that happens, then we will have to do that. So thank you. I'll start with my regular report if it's good. So we met with I'm sorry. We went through all the boards for the budget process. So the personal service, which is, all the salary and benefits and things like that, and also the operating funds for the fire department. We went through the process is long. It starts out with us developing our budget, then going to the first selectman's office, first select person's office. And from there, then we go to the Board of Selectmen, select persons. Then we go to the Board of Finance, which is very difficult because they're all financial analysts from corporations, and they really Commissioner DeWitt knows because he was a member of the board. And they're very, incisive. And then we just the other night, Tuesday, a couple nights ago, we went through the board, the RTM, which is the final board. So we've pretty much completed the budget process for fiscal year 27. So we also, in addition to that, just remind you that there are other things that we do in the budget. We go through capital plans where we get money for large projects and for fire trucks. We've got 4 fire trucks on order, $9.6 million worth of fire trucks on order from now for the 4 years out, because we have to do this 4 years out, 2, 3, 4, 5 years out because of the delivery times and how the situation is. They're on the way. We've got 4 fire apparatus on the way. We've got 2 fire boats on the way. Hopefully we'll see them sometime in fiscal year 27. The smaller of the 2 boats, which we will put down at Yee Yacht Yard. Right now, we just got something back from the manufacturer asking us to okay some of the final plans. So hopefully they've got the thing in the shop and they're cutting metal right now. We don't know if we're going to see that in the season, in the boating season. We're not sure when it's going to come in.
It's anticipated for October, but
Yeah,
with the
so-
hope it'll be
We're
sooner.
hoping maybe it's sooner, but right now we're still renting a boat, a 25-foot boat, which we've rented for the last few years since our original fireboat sunk. The large fireboat won't come in, the large one won't
March
come
of
in
next
until
year.
March of next year. So it's gonna be a little while before we see that. It's difficult, but we're making do. Let's see, you'll see tonight, someone gave a donation for medical equipment. We think that was great found money because the other day in my office came our medical officer, one of our medical firefighters who kind of double as our medical advisor. He's a paramedic, and he said, we really use some more fees. So and this came in, so buy some AEDs with this donation, which is meant for EMS equipment. So that's a beautiful thing. Capital projects. We do have a lot of capital projects with the town for our facilities. We've spoken about some of the things that are on the need to be replaced. Our shop, our Station 4, different things that we need to be done to our fire headquarters to make it usable. So what happened was we were planning on going in one direction, but we're kind of forced because we had a problem with the bathrooms at Station 1, and they're a total disgrace. And we can take you there if you need to see, but yeah, you don't want. I don't even want to discuss in polite company how bad that bathroom is. So we may resequence the money that was meant down a couple of years down the line for bathroom renovations at Station 1, so our people can have clean bathrooms and showers. So we're working on that. We're waiting. The architect is now working on construction drawings. Once we get the drawings, we're going to go out for pricing and hopefully award it to a contractor. The other day, the WPCA across the street was flooded out of their offices, and 3 of their staff are now using a room in our facility. Chief Barry just availed one of the rooms here for them to use. WPCA, the
Water
sewer
pollution control.
water pollution control. So their director, Paul Gore, and John Bodie, who's their operations director, and a couple of their staff people are using our facility right here just to work out it because their offices were flooded and are unusable at this point. So it's just, it's one good example about how the great thing when I came up here is that all agencies kind of look out for each other. DPW has always been a great help for us. WPCA has always been a good partner. We needed to borrow for Clam Jam, not Clam Jam, but SantaCon. We needed to borrow another gator, and Chief Barry went over to talk to them and they said, whatever you need, they just drove it over here and parked it here and said, it's here when you want. So it's great when we can kind of do things for them. Some of our equipment here, we have a particular piece of equipment here that is an unusual piece of equipment in the backyard. DPW, we let them use it when they need to use it. It's a great thing. One hand washes the other, but we will look out for each other. So it's a great, another reason why I love working in Fairfield. So this is a question of us helping them, but we've gotten help from all departments along the way. Interviews are being set up now for entry-level firefighter, and we're just awaiting the names of the Board of Fire Commissioners. We have two names from
Do
you.
we publicly, do you want to publicly say those dates yet or no?
Yes, I think I sent them to you.
You did.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, May, is that 4, 5, 6 or 5, 6, 7, whatever those 3 days.
Four is a Monday.
Okay, so then it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so it'd be 5, 6, 7. So we just need 2 fire commissioners to participate. So
Rather than that
yeah,
tonight.
5, 6, 7. So please get back to us, and then we already have our panel, which our panel already said, okay, from the fire department, we're happy because it's the same people we've used. We're stellar. So we're looking forward to doing it.
It's a great experience. It's a lot of time. You're giving up all those days, but it's a great experience to connect on the future of the fire department and to really see the process, and that you'll feel much more connected to the fire department both those 3 days if you can swing it.
So right now we're setting up a senior experience with area high schools. That's something where we think that helps with recruitment down the line, but it also helps, our high schools people may be interested in public safety. They may or they may not, but it's a good experience. We had a good program last year. We're going to try to duplicate that this year.
Who's gonna run it this year?
We're gonna have firefighter Corinne Valazano, who she was on like duty last year and she ran it, so she asked if she could run it this year. She did a great job.
She's back doing it. Good.
And we're going to try it again this year. So she was willing to.
That was during the interviews last year, so I got to interact with them.
Oh, so you did see that, yes. And it was a
Terrific.
very interesting thing, yes.
Terrific.
So the students will get they'll see about engine company operations, ladder company operations, rescue company operations. They're gonna get some CPR training and things like that from actually from you.
Yeah, I did it last year. Yeah.
He did it last year. So we've got one of the reps there, one of our stars. So we're looking forward to that. So that's gonna be it's being planned right now. I just remind some of you to if you've never been on our website, please take a look. It's www.fairfieldct.org/fire. But just take a look at our website. We do have a link to the fire commission, but it's always good to see. It's a nice website, we think so. And if you do forget the link, just text me or whatever.
Can I ask you a question about the senior experience? Is it during the day?
Yes.
Yeah, when I taught the CPR class, at least it was.
Yes. It's
I know senior experience starts in like May and the seniors can go to the end of the year. So that's what I'm just asking because I'm at the alternative.
Chief Barry can.
My son actually took it last year and he loved it. So seniors in Fairfield high schools are allowed to take time off during their school week to participate in what they call a senior experience. Some go to work in different places. Some do experiences like this. Some will go with their parents and do different things, but the idea is to give them an idea of what they're looking at in the future. So I know he enjoyed it immensely last year.
There was double digits in the lunchroom and I saw them and they were all like, Corinne had them going all day long.
She's a cheerleader.
Yeah, it was great. She had them productive. It was terrific.
So an additional thing in emergency management is that the emergency management performance grant is out. That's one of our new sources. And so we applied for that grant. Hopefully we'll get it. It's something that comes from the state. It's part of our annual revenue, but we have to do some performance, in order to get it. It's like 50 cents per population, so it's 32,000 or whatever they're giving us. So we've applied to that. The last thing I'd like to say is I'd like to thank the members responsible for setting up the fire poster contest. Each year, Jen kind of shepherds it and kind of moves it along so that she gathers all the information. She then grabs us by the ties and brings us into the room to make sure that we score the posters, because if we don't get told to do that, we're not going to walk into that room. But we do when she sets it up nicely so that we put stickies on it, and she's got a whole routine. She did a great job. She set up everything about it. And then we had Assistant Chief John Cronin spoke to them also, and John shepherds the program too. And Lieutenant Bill Tuttle from the union supports it by giving little card prizes for pizza at Colony Grill and things like that. And it's a nice thing for these kids. But what it does is it's fire safety education, which is God's work, so it's great.
It's for us for the commission. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Lieutenant or Chief, sorry. And white shirt or no? Yeah, sure. Thank you, though. I love it every year. I love it.
No, it's a nice thing.
Yeah, the kids I was watching it in here because it came on, and the kids one girl won twice in a row.
Yes, yeah.
2 years.
That's great.
Two-time winner.
And we've had people in the past go to the state and win the state. So we have that up at fire headquarters as a poster that won it, a few years ago, probably 8
It's
years
actually on the wall, on the way out. There's
It's
a
Yeah, we
winner.
have it here. Yeah,
We should
here too.
continue that tradition if we can memorialize them
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
It's good
Because
stuff.
when they're 25 years old and come in here and see it, it's like,
that's true.
it's
The artwork
community.
is
It's
it's
community.
absolutely amazing.
It's community. It's
You
great.
can draw a straight line with a ruler.
So, and that concludes my report for today.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Dunn?
Just on the budget, Chief, how did we fare on the budget? Did you go in and come out the same numbers, or did you get adjusted?
You never do. You never do. So like you kind of, it's like pieces get torn off you at each turn. So we put in, we asked for a bunch of things, and we got some things taken out at the first step. Staffing, actually, what we had done is we tried to put in staffing for the fire marshal's office, based on recommendations, not only from you, but from us. But it didn't go there. I think the manpower, the staffing in the firehouse, they want to do through negotiations and whatever, that's where that is. So we also put in for 2 new vehicles because we think we need vehicles. The vehicles got decimated right away. From the Board of Finance, we got about $20,000 stripped away from various accounts that we had asked for in our maintenance accounts. So we fought the good fight, but some of the things we went down in flames. But we think we do have some healthy increases in some areas there. It wasn't a big budget increase because the biggest budget increases happen when we have contractual increases, and there were none because they're still negotiating. So it was all really just operating increases, but we did gain some. So we're gonna make do, and we'll see. And each year we fight the fight. The good thing that I have to say is too, so people will say, well, that the only things you ask for, but we have $9.6 million worth of fire engines coming to us in the next 4 years. We've got 2 fire boats coming next year. That isn't even part of that 9.6 million. We've got millions of dollars in capital project money for that are in the waterfall, which, okay, it's not all of that is blessed to go, but a lot of that is standing there for each year where we've already put in asking for it. So they know it's coming and they're thinking about it, for things like replacing Station 4, or fixing up Station 4. Station 4, we know, everybody that's been there knows it's inadequate for size, for, keeping a fire engine in, and for housing our firefighters. For the shop, we need bigger space for the shop. We need Station 1 to be a little bigger, clean, and definitely cleaner and sanitary, because the fire, we need an elevator in Station One. We would like to, in our plan, we want to expand Station One another bay. So,
We
there's a lot
want
of
maintenance
things.
here, right?
What?
We ultimately want maintenance.
We were thinking that putting maintenance somewhere on this campus, not in this building, because this
Yeah,
building.
yeah, yeah, no, not in this, all right, all right.
Right next door, right here, possibly, adjoining that next building there. That probably would be a great place, because there's not that much space in town to grab, but. it's
Yeah.
one of our plans.
My apologies, I mean, I was traveling a lot, but I really wanted to, listen, I did it for 16 years and I know the pains that we put everybody through with cuts and whatever. I really wanted to be there as a commissioner and say, listen, we approved this budget, and I remember years when, especially the police commission, they were very vocal about, this budget is the budget, and I think it was impactful, so, I'm making a promise to be there next year and advocate
I appreciate that.
on our behalf anyway, I should say.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions for the chief? Comments? Can we go to the deputy chiefs then? I don't know if Deputy Chief Case or Deputy Chief Barry wants to go first.
Roger wants to go first.
I'm not sure.
Not sure if he is.
Chief Case,
You.
yeah, he's.
I can start, easy enough. So we'll talk about responses. We had 804 responses for the month, including 2 building fires, 2 chimney fires, were the mainstay of that, 1 furnace fire, and 1 commercial kitchen fire up at the Sacred Heart campus. We had 2 vehicle fires. One of them was very prominent down at the Fitness Edge.
Yeah, that made social media.
That was
Wow.
water, man.
And ruined a couple other cars right next to it.
Yeah, it was 3 cars total that caught on fire.
Another reason why I don't go to the gym.
Safety first, Commissioner.
We only have so many.
You could walk to the gym too.
Fortunately, our crews are they're very good at what they do, so they were able to get a hold of it pretty quick and contain it. Those 2 cars were already gone by the time they were there, so they were able to hold it to just those 3 vehicles.
That would have been, that could have been. a lot.
Yeah, and that's why we have what we have, where we have it, and that's why we continuously push to get better and more. We also started Clam Jam planning, that's underway, working with Fairfield Student Life and Public Safety and the Police Department to ensure that that is a safe and regulated experience for all those who attend and those who live in the area.
Is that gonna be similar to SantaCon or is it gonna be more at the point? That one we can't.
It'll be similar to SantaCon, but it's at the Penfield, I'm sorry,
Okay.
yeah, Penfield area. And it's corralled, it's contained
Okay.
very, very well.
They've done a great job in the last few years.
And the Fairfield students are, they were,
Adults should all go party at the point then. Kids are.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Jam.
I wouldn't recommend that. Stay away as far as I could. But, they, it's a cooperation with the student body and with the Fairfield University to create a safe and controlled environment for, them to have a good time. Apparatus, as the chief said, we placed the 4th order of the 4 trucks. This one was the most complicated of all of them. So it took the committee a little bit longer to put this one together. It's gonna be 50 months before we see that one, was what I was told.
5-0.
50. So
That's the big one.
yeah, that's replacing Rescue. It will actually replace Rescue 2, but Rescue 1 will move to primary status, and it keeps up with our process, the NFPA. There's a certain amount of recommendations, how long, even though something looks pretty, underneath it might be rotted, it might have issues, and then you have technology changes. So it's important to stay on top of this we're trying to, with what we're doing, we're trying to future-proof our department and make sure that we're prepared for everything that's coming 10 or 15 years from now. Hard to predict that, but we see where this department is heading, and that is, I know in our offices up there, that's where we're focused on, is what's gonna happen 15 years from now, and how are we gonna keep the citizens and the firefighters safe in this town, so that's why we're moving the way we are. Our OSHA PPE was finished being distributed, we received a violation of, some of our gear was over 10 years old.
Yes.
We just finished that up. That's all been distributed. Everybody is compliant with their first and second set of gear. There's a couple of holes in the second sets of gear, but as the budget allows us, we'll replace their gear. And as they time it, we have 14 sets on order right now to finish out this fiscal year. And then next year, we replace 20 sets a year. What set us back a little bit this year was the backlog and people that we put on. So that was 9 sets. That was right off the top. So it was a little bit of juggling, and I work with the training division. We were able to get that where everybody's compliant. Operationally, we just put some new supply line into service. I talked about that a little bit because that couples into what we're doing with trying to future-proof. Hose has a pressure that it operates at, and it has a maximum pressure that it operates at. The new hose that we're buying, although it's very similar in price, allows us to raise our pump pressures significantly. We're going from 180 to 300. And you look at that, when you get to a 6-story building, you have to feed that fire department connection at 200 PSI plus any friction loss. So if we're away from the building, we have to account for that. So we needed this hose to make that happen. So as these structures go up, there are other effects in the department that we have to try to look at and try to be on the forefront of. So we're working to start to swap all the trucks over to that type of, and it's also more abrasion proof. So we're hoping that it'll last a little bit longer. Many of the shifts have been working on live fire evolutions down here at the training center. As the warmer weather comes, but not the hot weather, we try to get our people in to get some experience down here, especially with all the new people we have. I spoke with Chief Higgins today, who was down here managing that, and he had stellar reviews for all our crews, and my hat's off to him for managing that for all of us. Our new officers are still working on completing their department required courses. So when we promote somebody, we give them safety officer, instructor, and officer 1. I believe we just finished the last of that component for the officers that were put on a few years ago. The reason is any one of them can be a safety officer. They all have to teach, and they all need to be officer 1. That's part of the OSHA requirement that comes in for fire brigades. And we're working with the training division on future classes for firefighter and officer development. Buildings and grounds, architects, as the chief spoke about, are in the design phase for the Station 1 bathroom. We had a catastrophic failure of the pipe. We had to do a little juggling to get people in there. We have 1/3 of our showers and 50% of our bathroom is operational. So what that means is if we have a fire or we are exposed to medical stuff, anything like that, that firefighter needs to come back and shower and decontaminate themselves. With 1 shower and 6 people working in that station, it makes it very, very difficult. So that's why we reallocated what we were doing and working with the projects group to get that done sooner. So that is we've had engineers on site. They're evaluating utilities of how we're going to do it, trying to lay it out so that, again, that's a little bit future proofing for anything that we do in that station. So we don't want to redo it 10 years from now. We want to do it now. We want it to be done. Station 3, we're in the process of repairing the kitchen that's over there. They put in a hood system and an air system, and when that went in, it kind of, I was a young firefighter when those cabinets were put in, and they just kind of disintegrated as they tried to move them. So we have to repair that, and DPW is working with us to take care of that. And then Station 5 septic system, I don't have any updates on that. I know it went out to bid. I think it was awarded, but I don't know that for sure. But I would expect that to probably happen soon. And from Chief Case, he says he has no updates.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it says you covered my part.
So, Barkers, any questions around the deterioration of the facility?
I have a question, but not on that.
Is there anything more we can do to help you there? I guess I would say, like,
Moving along, your credit card?
my kids have it.
It's a balance to try to move this down the road, but Station 4 is obviously our hardest station right now. It's almost, I don't want to say unusable, but it's impractical to use. The fact that Station 5 septic system isn't done yet it's things are boiling up, and we owe it to our people to make sure we're on top of this and trying to provide them a safe, clean place to do it. We're pushing as hard as we can, and DPW works along with us very, very well. They do a good job, but there's only so much they can do as well. So it's
Wasn't I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Wasn't the septic system at Station 5 limiting our ability to do the cleaning of the equipment too, right?
They have to go to another station to do that right now.
That's big too.
It'll get done. There are, as you well know, through the budgetary process, there are a lot of hoops you need to jump through and approvals that you need to get. It needs to go out the bid needs to be awarded, then there's performance bond, all that stuff that goes on with that. The capital projects group and DPW handle that side of things, and I know they're working to get it done. My hope is that it's gonna start quickly and it's gonna be done quickly. That's it for my,
Well, come to us, to week for a meeting, that if you need like a letter or something, we wanna, we want our firefighters to be able to use the bathroom.
yeah,
Not even after fire, just before a fire, feel free to use the bathroom.
of course.
I think what we're living with now is for too many years, we were reactive and not proactive on our buildings.
Absolutely.
We didn't move when we should have moved over the years going, hey, this is looking pretty shabby. We should do something with it. And then it falls off the wall. Now we have to do something with it. So going down the road, if we ever get caught up, we really need to be proactive and just looking at what needs to be done, because in the long run, it's cheaper. We all know that with our houses and everything else. In the long run, we're saving money. That's what I had on that, but I did have another comment I wanted to ask the deputy chief if he could elaborate a little more, because we are constantly talking about responses, the amount of personnel that we have, the amount of trucks we have. And just if you couldn't elaborate on that 45 minutes from yesterday evening, when we had back to back calls. And if any of those were a real fire, with fire showing, would have been screwed. So if you want to just elaborate a little bit.
Yesterday we had, when you prepare a department, you prepare for what you do most of the time. There are times when you don't have enough to do what you need to do. We're an insurance policy for when someone calls 911 and asks for help, we need to respond. There's no doubt about that. The only way you do that is with personnel and vehicles. Yesterday, there was about 45-minute period where we were down to almost nothing all the time. And some of them were pretty serious calls, nothing that required all of the units to stay there. And kudos to the shift commander who was managing that and trying to push stuff off. It was to the point where I was getting dressed. All right, one of these sooner or later, he's going to be short and we're going to have to go help him. But it's tight. We're a very busy department and we have a lot of different calls we have to go to. And it is our responsibility when someone dials 911 to show up properly staffed and proper vehicles to do the jobs that we need to do. So it was, again, Chief Iannotti was on last night and he was doing a great job.
He did a real good job.
And the dispatcher was working with them and they were like, it was like swinging vine to vine. They did a tremendous job to make sure everybody got something. And it was, like you said, if any of those were more serious, we would have had a little bit of a problem for a period of time.
These were medical calls or actual fire incidents?
Gas leaks,
Oh, gas.
Chimney fire.
chimney fire, which, you can handle with, just himself in one unit. But again, that's an experienced officer looking at something and realizing.
On my truck. I could separate my crew, I could do things that I wouldn't have been able to do.
And it was just listening to it yesterday, how he was reallocating resources as soon as something got cleared up and went back out.
Yeah, everybody did a tremendous job yesterday. And that's the unseen stuff because of the fact that nothing really big happened, but a lot of things happened. And to be able to turn on a dime and be able to send something here and send that and, experienced officers realizing I've got enough I can handle this with what I have. You guys go to the next thing. And that's what we do. We fix with what we need to fix with what we have. Unfortunately, it's one of our downfalls too, is we'll just get it done somehow.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you, Deputy Chief. Sir, do we have Norma on the line? They'll be cranking up for Clam Jam, right? Do they get involved that day?
Clam Jam, we don't use them for Clam Jam, but
Okay.
we use them for a lot of other things
Yeah,
during the summer.
SantaCon, they did a great job. They were out here in force. They're so
They're
organized.
always great.
They
And,
were terrific.
They just graduated 20 people from their basic training class and,
Yeah,
so that's great.
they were so impressive on SantaCon. It was great. Anybody on the line from Southport Volunteer Fire Department? Anybody on the line from Stratfield Volunteer Fire Department? I'm buying dinner if my time as chairman, if somebody jumps on for those things. Anybody on from local 1426?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna have to indulge me just a little bit tonight, especially with new commissioners. I just wanna run you through what we've done with, in the past, so that you're up to speed. I'll go for the regular order of business. We had the benevolent, some people got the bidding war with me, but we drove up some prices.
What are we talking about?
We did our benevolent is, like our charitable, you hear about our charitable all the time, the Santa ride and raising money for the Tommy Fund, which we have the gala coming up in 2 weeks. But benevolent is a fundraiser we do for us, and we've been historically really bad at it. We struggle to raise money for ourselves. We're great at giving it to other people, but we have our own issues and sometimes we need help. So this was the first time we had like a real event, and it went super well. I don't think they have a final total yet, but somewhere around like $35,000. That's probably $35,000 more than we raised in the last 20 years. So we're on the right path, and I think everybody had a good time. It was a really well attended event. It was really well run. So thank you. Did you win anything?
I did not,
You
but
mean, but I-
fundraising this.
yes, that's what I just kept going until no one was
I
getting
had
walking out
to
of there with a
work.
bargain.
So,
That's what I can assure. So on any of the bid items, you weren't getting out for less than what it was worth. Grievances, we've got a number of grievances up at the labor board. Most have to do with discrimination cases, Title VII, some ADA stuff.
I'm
we-
sorry, grievances against the department or grievances filed on behalf of the?
Grievances against the department.
Against the department.
Yeah, and the town.
Right.
Well, our grievance process is a 3-step process. The first step is at the chief's level. Usually the only thing that gets handled there are interdepartmental things, a hiring mistake, something that we can fix internally. Everything else goes to the second step, which is HR. It used to be the fire commission. The town fought to have you removed from that process. I did in negotiations, and now it goes to HR, which is usually who our fight is with anyway. So that's a place you stop for 10 seconds on your way to the labor board. The last thing I'll say before I get into my presentation on manpower is when they talked about the budget, and I appreciate how nice they were about it. That budget is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the first select. The Board of Selectmen should be embarrassed that they put it to the Board of Finance. The Board of Finance should be embarrassed at what they did with it. A 0.7% increase. Did anything in your lives change by 0.7% in the last year? Because mine didn't. And asking us to do less with less, and then talking about, God bless them. Look, Station 4 goes through a life cycle. I've been here for 25 years now. And the position that I got was because they added an extra person down there with a 2-person staffing to 3-person staffing, so they put in a temporary room when I got here. The same room I sit in when I worked there. They haven't done anything. It goes through this, it's coming up next. Ooh, it's going in the waterfall, then it goes through the waterfall, then it's coming up, and then it's gonna, we might move. We're gonna look over here. We think we might do this. Nothing's ever gonna happen. We're all going to be long gone from this planet before anything happens with Station 4. Everyone who tells you that it's gonna get fixed, they could be well-intentioned and they're wrong, or they're not well-intentioned and they're just lying. They're not gonna fix it. Our firehouses are disgusting. There's not one firehouse here that's a livable space that anyone would accept. The joke I use all the time, the Board of Ed wouldn't store mops in Station 4. If their mops were stuck in that building, they'd go, this is unacceptable. Their increase, and they deserve it, Nobody lives in this town because they got a good fire department. They're lucky to have a good fire department, but that's why not anyone moves here. They move here because we have good schools. And I want the Board of Ed to get everything they deserve, because good schools mean that everything else in town is going good. But the fact of the matter is, if you can eat the budget increases that you have there, there's no reason you're cutting $20,000 from our training budget. It's an embarrassment, and it's humiliating, and it's terrible. And it tells everyone here and every member of this fire department that you don't matter. I was incensed listening to it. And it's the same thing every single time. It's a tough budget year. Okay, they're all tough budget years. No one wants a tax increase. We all got hit with just like everyone else here. My house is worth a lot more than it was the last time that they told me how much my house was worth. I get it. It's gonna hurt. Everyone's gonna feel some pain, but it doesn't change the fact that you need to do things, right? Like, we need a toilet. We're not asking for gold-plated anything. We're not looking for heated floors so that my toes don't get cold when I go to the bathroom. I wanna flush the toilet. I wanna wash my gear when I get back from a fire so that I don't get cancer. That's not a heavy lift, it's not a big ask, and it's the amount of money that they took out of that budget, that was a bare bone budget to start with, is a rounding error. The fact that his fire marshal office is still staffed like it is disgusting. And the answer of, well, we're gonna do manpower through negotiations. I'm gonna go into this in a minute. It's not my job to staff fire trucks. I have to fight for it because the part that I fight for is my guy's safety. I'm not responsible. The union isn't responsible for keeping everyone in town safe. That's your job, that's his job, and that's their job. They're not doing it. They're not giving them what they need for the town to be safe. Never mind, we've all come to grips with they don't care about us, right? I'm cool with that now. It's just a realization. But the fact of the matter is, they don't care about you either. And telling someone that, hey, you're not gonna get this because, well, we couldn't afford it. Wait till you need it and it doesn't happen. When the fire truck doesn't come to your house because it didn't work because our maintenance budget got caught, tell that person you weren't worth it. So that's my soapbox, but I'm gonna explain this a little bit more. Short video.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. please.
Oh, go ahead.
If and it's,
It's in the Board of Ed budget.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that number
But
is.
I deliberately, it isn't.
I'm not saying take it from-
Students in firefighting.
I'm not saying take it from them,
No,
but it's good schools is just as valuable as good firefighters and a good fire department. I may be biased, but that's how I look at it. I'm done.
If I may, I'll get on a soapbox for a minute. I wanted to be in the fire commission because I think this, what you just said is a matter of education. I think the last time they added a fire marshal, I was still on the board, and Harry Ackley was calling me to add a fire commission. A fire marshal. Maybe I missed one, been added since then. But to not add a fire marshal that's a revenue generating entity is so short-sighted. I look at this I look at the fire marshal report and I can't believe the work that's being done with the work, you know. So I really think it's a matter of education. I really think, you know, maybe the commission can be more vocal about this, because I'll tell you, no one ever did what you just did to me as a Board of Finance guy. And I'd like to think, and maybe Chief Dunn could tell me or not, but I was always supportive of the fire department, maybe to the nth degree, maybe because of my background, right? But there were a lot of times that, you know, I got shot down and I didn't think for very good. And I really think that we need to take these people through firehouses. And we need to really tell them that they're not showering and they're not getting their gear cleaned. I mean, I went on a rant when they spent all that money to redo H. Smith Richardson Clubhouse. I mean, you can look at and I said, we should be spending this on public safety. But no, we have a nice clubhouse that,
Well, I appreciate it. I've been banging this drum and trying to educate, and that's why with new commissioners, I wanted to go through all this again. Janet put together that package for you when you get a chance.
Yeah, this is great.
It's a good synopsis.
This is great.
Um,
Thank you.
one of the authors of it was the former US Fire Commissioner, Dr. Lori Moore, who's as good as it gets when it comes to these things. But as I get into what I'm gonna explain here, the preamble I give you is that I'm not gonna give you any opinions, right? And what you'll hear from people, usually when I'm not around, when they try and debate me, because they don't do it while I'm there. But in the past, I've had people that they wait till I leave and then they go, well, that's what he thinks. There's other things. There aren't other things. These aren't what I think. None of what I'm gonna show you is made up by me or the IAFF or our union. It comes from OSHA, NIOSH, NIST, which is National Institute of Standards, Science and Technology. This is all math and science, what we're gonna demonstrate here, and show you the response times, the way that things are figured out, the manpower that's there, it's all done scientifically. For a long time in the fire service, longer than I've been around and even more than Chief Dunn, we've been told every time we ask for something, they go, well, we don't have any science. We need data, we need math. We gave you all the data, we're giving you all the math, and we're still not getting what we need. Dumb answers that to my questions, or dumb answers or dumb solutions to what you're gonna hear are, what do other towns do? Well, I don't know about you, maybe your parents were different than mine. But if I came home and said, hey, all my friends are doing something dumb, can I do it too? My mom would say, I don't care about your friends. You're in charge. So it doesn't matter what they do in the next 3 towns over. If you don't live there and you're not a fire commissioner there, you're here. Right? So we should be doing what we need to do here. The things that I'm gonna present here, I'm talking bare minimum. This isn't a gold standard. It isn't like, well, that would be nice to have. I'll show you what we should have. But the bare minimum that we don't need is what I'm gonna demonstrate here. Justin, could you play the video?
Yep. Get this all set up.
Can't blame the Chiefs.
So,
we just have to share.
The data you'll see there, the other thing is I'm gonna show you housing types. So the NFPA breaks down occupancies into hazards. Low, medium, and high. Low hazards, single to two-family houses, less than 2,000 square feet with no basement, no exposure. Exposure is,
Do that because I think we should
building
go.
next to it. So you're gonna see when we pull up the screen here, you're gonna see a whole bunch of those low hazards lit up in the color that they are.
The shares.
That's not accurate. It's not accurate because the data we pulled from the town doesn't say whether something has a basement or not. So there aren't a lot of houses in town that don't have basements. So in reality, the ones that don't have basements probably at least have an exposure. So we really don't have any low hazards. And
For record, this committee should
everything will
be,
be metered out into what you're
Committee
supposed to
figures it
respond
out. I
with,
thought it
what
was-
amount of time for what particular hazard. So the vast majority of this town falls into hazard.
Text everyone and Roger, you deal with that.
And now we're
This is
going to.
what was on the agenda.
There's a bigger, so you
I'm
have
commenting on
a
that.
triad of issues. Bigger buildings, taller buildings, open floor plans, they're not compartmentalized. Kids in there, right, like if she has any doors in their house.
This is what she's got on
You
here.
have to, you know, other door wall.
You good?
Can't just buy a house.
We can't.
And then you have modern furnishing, either plastic or some other kind of carbon, you know, a memory foam mattress, like a king size memory foam mattress has, John might know better than me, but the amount of energy stored in that mattress is phenomenal. Because it's just condensed hydrocarbons, it's just waiting to explode.
Okay.
So that's what everything is in modern furnishing, is how much energy is stored inside.
That's okay, we got it.
So we have. And it works against us in another direction with lightweight construction. Right? We have lightweight construction, which means there's no density, which means it's gonna burn faster and burn through faster and collapse faster. The most recent rash of firefighter deaths are guys falling through basement floors as soon as they get in the house because it's a basement fire. And those truss construction and the lightweight construction just falls apart as soon as it's impinged by fire. Want to try again?
Yeah, we're back in, you're good.
Alright.
You talk, I'll scroll.
All right, next one.
You want this part or just the?
Yeah, just go through that. I can share this with you. There's no proprietary information here. So our current staffing is 3 people on each apparatus except for engine 5, which is what we want in arbitration, has 4 people. And the shift commander's car has 2, the shift commander and his aide.
You wanna just go to the graphic or do you wanna go
Yeah,
through
you
this?
can go right down to the graphic. So this here is, and I'll explain it a little bit more as we go through it. So there's benchmarks that are both by in, 2 out. OSHA 2 in, 2 out means if 2 people are gonna enter an IDLH atmosphere, immediately dangerous to life and health, so that's a building fire. If 2 people are gonna go in, there has to be, you can't go in alone, so 2 people have to go in and 2 people have to be on the outside for that to happen. That's the basis for 4-person staffing. That means that when the truck shows up in front of a house, I would expect that your expectation as a citizen is if your house is on fire and you're inside there and the fire truck pulls up, that they're gonna take a hose, put on their gear and go inside the house. Other than engine 5, they're not supposed to do that until someone else shows up. So that puts the company officer in a position. Our SOPs tell us we're not supposed to go in. So the company officer standing in front of the house at 2:00 in the morning, sees a car in the driveway, bicycles sitting in the front yard, has to decide if you can break 2 in, 2 out if you have a known life hazard inside. That comes down to someone telling you, hey, my kids are still in the house. Just standing outside and cars in the driveway doesn't mean that you know that someone's in there. So as the company officer, I have to make a decision. Do I go in or do I stay out? Now my decision 1, I stay out. Okay, that's what the law says. That's what my SOP says. 10 feet inside that door could be someone that I could have saved. I wouldn't be able to live with myself after. That's probably not the decision I'm gonna make. So the other decision is, I'm gonna break the law, I'm gonna break the rules, and I am gonna go into the house. Now, let's say I do that and nobody's home, and one of my guys gets hurt or killed. Now I'm responsible for that as well. That is an unfair burden to put on the people that work here. The responsibility of the town is to give me I'll do whatever I'm supposed to do. You just have to give me the tools to do it. And it's not fair to ask anyone here to make that decision every day when they come to work. So you can see that these are percentage of the towns that we can cover in each of these situations. Within 4 minutes, we can have a truck to a house in 48% of the houses in Fairfield. 2 in, 2 out, we can make 35% of the time. The reason that you see this delta here is that at stations 1 and 2, this also assumes that, unlike what we were talking about when it's 45 minutes of everyone is on a call, this also assumes that everyone is in the fire station ready to go. When you do, what are we up to last year? How many calls?
10,000.
10,000 calls. There's not a lot of time where everybody's not doing something, but that's what we use for an assumption on this. So a truck at station 3 up in Stratfield will show up to a house, so they meet the 4-minute mark, but they don't make the 2 in, 2 out mark. At 1s and 2s, because they have 2 pieces of apparatus there, they're assuming that they arrive at the same time, so they'd be covered for the 2 in, 2 out on that. So this increased here when we put the 4th guy at station 5, because now all those residents within 4 minutes are meeting the 2 in, 2 out. 6-minute ladder stays the same all the way across because there's only one. Low hazard. So as I was explaining before, a low hazard alarm is 17 firefighters arriving within 8 minutes. So again, you hear the people who won't debate me but might debate me behind my back. Oh, well, we use mutual aid and we use automatic aid. No, we don't, and no, we don't. And even if we did, we're still not going to change 17 people in 8 minutes. Bridgeport or Westport's not getting here that fast, even if they were sent on the original alarm, which they never are. So then we get to medium hazards, as I was explaining before. That's the majority of this town. That's anything 2,000 square feet or larger, or anything with a basement or anything with an exposure. So there's very few houses in this town that are smaller than 2,000 square feet and have no basement and have no exposures. We can meet 3% of the time we can meet that. There's 3% of the town, it's kind of right in the middle, just behind. If you live on Round Hill Road, just behind Fairfield U, you're covered for a low hazard. Medium hazard, the majority of the town, we can cover 0% of the town because it requires 26 firefighters, we got 24. So no matter where that is, we never ever meet that standard. And then high hazard, we have less of those, we do have them. You have no chance there. So now you go to,
We scroll down.
nope. Oh, sorry. So now you just go to, we increase the staffing, which we've asked for in the last 3 contracts to just a minimum, 4 people on each apparatus. 35 goes to 48 because you see like these will now match up because everybody's got that extra guy. So everyone's meeting 2 in, 2 out in 4 minutes. This is where you see an increase, a substantial increase to safety in this town. That gives us, at least at that low hazard, that gives us, we can cover all the jobs that need to be taken care of in the first 8 minutes to a third of the town now. And then if you start to expand that out, we're showing up at those things. And at the very least, we're not covering a whole bunch of the town in that 8 minutes with 2%, but at least we can fill out this assignment now. At some point, we're gonna have enough people at that fire. High hazard doesn't change. Recommended staffing, I'll show you later, but that comes with when you get to population density. And then we threw in a 6th station because there was a lot of talk about, oh, we should add a fire station, which is laughable when you won't fix a toilet at another fire station. But if we were to add a 6th station, which this town definitely does need, you could see that it increases the coverage to the town.
Bill, can you elaborate a little more, the rest, some of the commissioners who are new, on 2 in and 2 out? You know, does that mean if you put 8 in, do you have to have 8 out? If you just elaborate a little bit more on.
2 in, 2 out is the minimum, so then after that, what we have is you're required to have a rapid intervention crew. So we have a team of firefighters on the outside that are there to help firefighters if they get in trouble.
But those firefighters coming on a Fairfield truck are not technically supposed to be engaged in fighting that fire.
The RIT crew should do nothing but, well, we call it softening the building, but your job is to go around, make sure that you can get into any entrances or to get people out. You have to kind of watch where the people are working on the inside. And then the good ones, at least when I'm on them, we'll throw some ladders to any other floors that we might be operating on so that people have an escape route. But no, you're not supposed, you can't engage in any other firefighting activities. And if they need you to do that, then they're supposed to backfill you with another.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay,
Thank you.
want to do recommendations, or you want to go to the map?
No, you can keep going now. Okay. I'm gonna go through these real quick. This is just anytime you do a community risk assessment, you should find out where your riskiest populations are. Households with disabilities, populations over.
I'm just starting at the
65.
beginning, so you
That's
can go
okay.
through.
You can go through it quick, but these are just the things you look at, and then we broke it up by district to show you where the population changes. If you push the little hamburger down here on the bottom,
There you go,
it
sir.
just coordinates with those colors, but it shows you that we do have vulnerable populations here. A lot of 65 and older. All right. You can
Double that
scroll down,
remark.
Justin.
Okay,
Below the poverty line, thankfully, we're lower than most.
do you want to just go over this really quick about the hazard types, or?
Yep, this is just, what I was telling you before, low hazard, single family dwelling, no basements, no exposures, less than 2,000 square feet. This is what you're typically looking at in Fairfield
Now though, with the bottom rows coming in soon.
every minute.
This is the one you wanted, right, Bill?
Yeah. So, as I was telling you before, just to blow it up a little bit, but low hazards are this blue color here, and medium are the yellow. But like I said, I couldn't pull.
Season Williams AirPods number 8, Season 1, F1 David Ocean, Serial Swindlers, Notification Center.
That's not me.
Yeah, this is
Tab somewhere.
the only tab.
And you can see the reds are the high hazards. You got the schools, those are the bigger buildings, anything over that amount. So the vast majority of this town is actually yellow. But even if you just looked at this, you could see that the beach is starting to get really populated with the yellow, because every time there isn't a little cape down, 2,000 square foot cape down there that doesn't wake up every morning nervous, right? Like they're waiting for a bulldozer to take me down. The other thing is even with the other houses, so many have been renovated so many times that they've taken that old compartmentalized 1920s cape and put an addition on the back, and then took out all the walls in between because they wanted the open floor plan. So what used to be a compartmentalized house where you could contain fire is now, once it gets a hold of it, it's just gonna blow right through it. Any questions? If I use this, I can look up your house and tell you what it is, but I can tell you all that you live in hazard houses. So that's what is that we can't, you're looking at all, even if you just took away all the other things, if you just looked at it, we can't do any of the yellow.
And 830Gs are not medium hazard, I would assume.
They do fall, most of those are falling under the medium hazard because.
They
You wanna
are.
go back a slide, Justin?
Yes.
I can show you why. They're usually less than 75 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
And they're less than 196,000 square feet. So they're falling in that category, but
On the end.
in reality, if we showed you an evolution out here of what it takes to get, those need to be fought through standpipes if we're up on the upper floor.
Sure.
If I took you on an evolution out here and said, here's the first alarm assignment, this is all the jobs they have to do, you can't get it. So for
Are they all
all intents and
Are
purposes.
they all gonna be standpipes, all the 830Gs?
Any ones that are,
Yes.
No active water, just standpipes.
No, they have sprinklers, they have sprinklers.
They have sprinklers too.
Standpipes say phytocide, the number of standpipes say phytocide. They want the bare minimum. We usually push for more, but they do have a little bit of standpipes.
So it's another reason why we were hard against all the legislation that was going through to try and push single entrant exits.
Yeah. Right.
Because those stairwells, one of those we need to firefight in. We can't all be in the same stairwell. You can't be leaving from the 5th floor. Well, I'm bringing things up to the 4th floor to bring a hose in there. We're gonna stop people from being able to exit because we don't have another way to take them out because they can only go through where we're going through. And we have to leave that fire door open on the fire floor because the standpipe's in the hallway. So we're gonna bring smoke and everything else out into the hallway as we push down into that floor. And we've had how many different fires at, say, Alto?
6, I think.
Right. And it's usually what I say at the end, but I'm gonna put it in here now. Every day we come to work here, everyone in this town is dodging a bullet, right? And the example I use for people is, some of you are maybe as old as I am. I went the first 35 years of my life and I never wore a seatbelt once. Never once. When I was a kid, they were tucked into the seats. So theoretically, if you use the same thing, well, no one's died here yet. You could say, well, it must be totally safe to drive around in a car without a seatbelt on because I did it and I didn't die. Well, that's not how risk management is or should work, but that's the risk management that we use for the fire department. It didn't happen. Everything's fine. When did anyone die? And unfortunately, in the fire service, we're not unique. Everything that we have in the fire service is because something really bad happened to somebody else. And we try and use those so that they didn't die in vain to say, hey, let's not do it that way anymore. But unfortunately, we're really good at that until it costs any amount of money. And then it's, well, they don't do it in Stratford, so that's good enough for us to not do it here. Next one. So this was one I actually found interesting. Took the most updated census information to show population density and what we classify as. I always assume we'd be suburban and then urban for like maybe downtown as it gets a little more crowded. Everything you see here is now considered densely urban by the Census Bureau. Everything here, the only part that's left that's suburban is Greenfield Hill. That's it. Everything else is either urban or densely urban. That makes a difference to us because it increases traffic, which increases our response time. It increases how many people we have. The more people we have, the more calls we're on, and those 10,000 calls have gone up from, I don't know, 8,000 maybe when I first got here. It's never going to slow down because we're just going to keep adding people. The more people you add, the more stuff you're going to have. The more traffic we have, the more car accidents we're going to have, and that continues on. Our call volume through 2023, so there's 5 years of it there. You can see that there's a fairly steady increase. You see the two things here. These are incidents versus unit responses. So our incidents are right there along, but you can see our unit responses are increasing. So the difference is we have one call, there could be 8 trucks that go to it. That's still just one call, so that's why we've been broken up between the two. Then it's by truck. Some people have asked, why the 4 people at Station 5 if they're doing the least amount of calls? It's because our geographic area is huge and nobody else is coming. So when you talk about things like Treasure Road or way up on Westport Turnpike there, we could be alone up there for 12, 15 minutes before anybody comes to help us. We had a fire there, Date myself, it must have been 10 years ago now, but they ran out of water waiting for other people to come. They had to leave that. They went in without 2 in, 2 out. They dumped 500 gallons. All the water was gone, backed out, then the house burned down.
Hydrants?
You need another truck to take the hydrant. So we take the first attack truck is going in off the tank water.
Oh, you don't hit
Because
a hydrant with
nobody
the
else
first
was
bucket?
coming, we couldn't get up. And the hydrants up there are sporadic at best, so it's a long lay anyway. But no, so they ran out of water. The homeowner was unhappy. That's not what they expect, and that goes back to what I was saying before about standing in front of your house at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would assume that everyone that lives in this town thinks the expectation is they're coming to get me. That's what they do. And we're not equipped to come and get you. We will, and we'll risk it. And when you talk about the dollars and cents of it, I use an example. We had 3 real fires in a row. 3 real fires, we sent 3 people to the hospital from those fires. Every single one of those people who went to the hospital, you could tie directly to manpower. What does it cost for someone to be out of work for a year? Never mind the cost to them, because I'm living with it in my house as we speak. But there's a cost to the employee, obviously, who was injured and has to go through all that. But even if you didn't care about it, you would think just from a dollars and cents point, you'd say, well, that injury cost us $1 million. Staffing that truck properly costs $600,000. You prevent one injury with that staffing. You've paid for it with one injury. But we don't work that way. And again, I'll point to the town. We haven't had a risk manager for 3 years. We don't even have a risk manager. Nobody is investigating this. Nobody is seeing the cost benefit ratio to what it means to not have these things.
Oh, there you go. So this is the incident
You want to
concentration.
just blow that up a little bit, Justin?
Yes, I'm in.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, boy.
Not that far.
Oh, now I look like a fool.
Never.
Right there, perfect. Sacred Heart, a bunch of nursing homes and a high school, right? But that's also one of the places that we're really far away from. We're not, this part of town here gets covered by nothing. That gets it actually worse than over here. And we have an enormous call volume up there. Down here, we have assisted living and nursing homes, and then you have your downtown sections, and then Black Rock Turnpike. If you didn't know, just a quick overview of, so what I was saying about recommended staffing. For densely urban, the NFPA recommends, and that's a recommendation, that's not a shall. That's 6 people on those trucks. Urban should be 5, and then suburban, they say a minimum of 4.
That's what the other station, just an option.
If you added a 6th station. And that gets determined by GIS studies as well. It determines call volume, distance between things, and what you'll get the most bang for your buck where you put it. Actually, the perfect place for that station is actually just got sold, right? It was Chief McCarthy's house. That was it landed like right at his house. It's like, you should just sell your house, make a fire station right here. This is just shows you could slide that back and forth. So just what it looks like with and without. You can hit the little
Oh, yep, sorry, here we go. If they were to build a new station.
that's where it would go.
With the one I know you want.
So here's your 4-minute coverage. We were talking about before, this is that with everything that can get any truck within 4 minutes is there. I can scroll down.
Do you want to?
Nope. Just forget the 6th station. Okay. That's all right. Thank you, though. This describes 2 in, 2 out. So you want to just scroll up just a little bit. We covered 35%, and that we picked that up by taking this 4-minute response time around station 5, but you can see station 3 and 4. So Southport and Stratfield do not have any 2 in, 2 out coverage within 4 minutes as required by OSHA and the NFPA.
You wanted to see what the minimum staffing?
If you put the proper staffing on, now this is a little deceptive because this map would look exactly the same if you didn't add the 4th person to the trucks at station 1 and station 2. If you just added a 4th person to station 3 and a 4th, so this would require 2 extra positions. You'd go, and now you're covering almost half the town with 2 in, 2 out, with just 2 positions. 2 positions is 8 people though, so.
Your 6-minute ladder coverage?
Yeah, that doesn't change no matter what you do, unless we had a ladder.
Well,
Low hazard, this is just showing you, it's a small cartoonish to show you where people need to be during that fire and what they do. You can, in the packet that I gave you, it kind of spells out job descriptions in there.
just with the minimum
Yes,
staffing?
so this is where you get your best bang for the buck on adding the staffing. Go back up to the 3. Like I said, right around Fairfield U is all that's covered right now.
And if we were to go to recommended,
Oh, yeah, if you go to recommended, the town blows up. But even at just, again, adding that 4th person to the trucks at the 32, a huge part of our population center is now properly covered.
medium,
Medium. Current, 0. If we added 4 people to all the trucks, we're back to that small area that we can reach with all of our trucks within 8 minutes.
recommended.
You go to recommended, it gets more, and it shows you the difference here is that the recommended staffing isn't just based on a fake number. It shows you the difference that the proper staffing makes. Remember, fire trucks are good, but the vast majority of fire trucks' work is to bring firefighters there. Fire trucks don't put out any fires, firefighters do. At a typical fire, I need the attack engine, water supply, and a truck company to do ladder work. Every other fire truck that shows up is just bringing people to do work. The trucks don't do anything. We park them up the street out of the way if we're good.
High hazard,
High hazard. We can't do it.
even with recommended staffing.
Right. The only way we do is add a 6th station and add the staffing and then cover the middle of town.
That's I mean, you're gonna talk, you don't need anything else.
Yeah, and again, I'll share the whole the thing with you so you can look through it, but all the methodology is contained in there. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Well,
So
part of the reason that I do this, and this part sounds kind of mean and I apologize for it, is, and I've been doing this now, this is year 4 of coming here and doing it for the town, is that the one thing I'm gonna be able to say, when something happens, and we came awful close just recently, when something happens, nobody is gonna be able to say, I didn't know. Nobody's gonna be able to say, if they had only told me, I would have never let this happen. Everyone is culpable. Once you know, you're part of it. And I'm gonna fight the fight, and I hope that you help me fight the fight, but at some point, there's gonna be someone up at a podium standing talking about what didn't happen, and people will tell you, well, the NFP is just a guideline. It's not a guideline, it's an industry standard. It's not the law. It is the law. If you don't follow an industry standard, and something bad happens, the law has a word for it, it's negligence. We are negligent every day. But you don't get caught in negligence until something bad happens. When it does happen, I'm going to be standing next to the plaintiff and I'm pointing fingers and I'm gonna say, they knew. They knew and they didn't fix it.
So, and thank you for this again, Bill. We can't do everything. We're trying to do something, right? If you said, what was the one, if we could get one thing done, not, still knowing it's not enough, what would be the first thing you would?
I'd get a person at Station 3. So at least that's a bigger area than Southport. In Southport, 1s gets there fairly quickly. But 3s could be alone up in that northeast corner for a long time, and there's no one around to help them. Trumbull's got volunteers, and Easton has 2 guys on a truck. There's no one there for them. They do, you go back to the call volume, 3s gets hammered.
Congress.
No, 3s is
Jackman. Oh, really?
Stratfield. I would bet you, if you said firefighters who get off the truck, because we talked about incident responses versus calls, right? So we all get an incident response for going to, every time I get dispatched to anything, but if it turns out to be a false alarm or something and I get put in service, I went on a call, but I didn't get off the truck and do a call. I would bet you that Station 3 does more get off the truck calls than anybody else.
Thank you. Any questions for
And what does adding one person to Station 3 mean? It just doesn't mean hire one person.
No, it would be four.
Because you'd have to 4 people because of the
Four people. So it's a
rotation,
four-
right?
It would be 4 people so that your staff, we looked at it both ways, we've offered it to the town both ways. It's actually a little bit cheaper if you run it as a vacancy, because you're not picking up insurance and post-retirement. So that came out to about 535,000 in overtime, as opposed to 660 for the hiring.
Flat pay, right?
Yeah. But again, I can give you the examples of where manpower hurt people. And all it takes is one person to, it pays for itself to avoid an injury.
So, you know, the problem was, it's not a problem, but you're preaching to the choir here. And somehow this message needs to go before all the other boards.
I do it over and over again, Joe.
Have you done this presentation for the Board of Finance?
It won't take it.
It's gotta go before the Board of Selectmen, because that's where the process has to start. And it's gotta be done during the budget process, because, you know,
But like they mentioned here, when they talked about staffing, because staffing, again, it isn't my responsibility. It's yours collectively as the town. Well, we want them to negotiate it. So I have to go into a room and decide, I either want my guys to be safe, or do I wanna pay more for dental? Well, it's like, and I appreciate we get a new fire truck. But I'm sorry, that's not a benefit to me. You have a fire department, you gotta buy fire trucks. I'm not impressed that someone gets me a fire truck, telling me that I can't take a fire truck to Stop and Shop and buy anything with it, right? It's not mine, it's not a benefit to me. I've been
kind of the
told
cost
it
of doing
before,
business.
right, it's, you know, wow, are there brakes on it too? Well, thanks a bunch. And no one would ask you, do you want brakes or do you want an extra guy? Well, I shouldn't have to make that decision. It's their responsibility to meet the minimum standard. And they don't.
Any other questions? Comments? Thank you for that presentation. We should just.
Sorry, I know that goes a little.
No, it's great. We should actually do that once a year, once every 18 months. I'll talk to you about that.
Well, I'm gonna get this updated too, so.
It's a great refresher. Old business. No. Donations, good job. Donations.
There's one donation in the package. It is a $5,000 donation from Brian and Gail Quinn. The note on it is, this is a grant for the fire department EMT unit in gratitude for their service. I would like to make a motion to accept the donation.
Give me a second.
I'm not finished with my donation.
Sorry.
My motion. And that the money be used as requested, allocated for either EMS supplies, or EMS training.
second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Liam.
Okay. I do have something else, under donations, if I may. When Chief McCarthy was here, I asked for a list of how the donations were being spent. Of taking in all this money and how's it being spent. I don't believe I ever got that list back then. So I'm gonna ask again if we can get an updated list of, you know, where's it going? So that's all I got under that.
That sounds like that's gonna be done. That's good. Okay. Old business chief search committee.
I do have a comment on this, if I may, Mr. Chairman. I think what we need to do, and I spoke at the last meeting about this, is we need to form a committee to see what we in the town want to see for qualifications for the office of chief. So experience, education, do we want to look nationwide? Do we want to stay within the department? The other thing I would like to see is if we can do something like a Survey Monkey. and I don't know if people are familiar with it, but it's just basically an anonymous survey that would go out. There's a company that does it. We use it all the time in business and stuff. And actually poll members of the rank and file and what they would like to see in a fire chief. So that's just, you know,
Define rank and file for me.
members of the career department, whether uniform or civilian. So the people, the secretaries, administrative assistant, don't throw nothing at me. The people in the fire marshal's office and stuff like that be included in that survey. I don't know if anybody's got any ideas or anything on it. But
I certainly don't think it's a bad idea to get as much data as possible.
You're done when?
November.
So what, why don't we make a motion? I can't make it, but to have, I don't think you'd be on the search, it'd be more of a pre-search committee?
Well, yeah, it's a committee to determine the qualifications of what we're gonna wanna see in the new chief.
So why don't we create a pre-search committee? And we lost Commissioner Pitko, but if anybody else wants to be on that to work with,
We lost?
Pitko.
Oh, okay.
Molly's really got so much in her, I think. I would like you to head it, if you would, in your remaining time to get us set up for next year for us to put this in motion. So you can do it yourself, or if you wanna grab another body or two to work with you on it.
I would love to have somebody else helping me with it, with everything else going on. And then,
Volunteers.
and I don't know if, who else is on here?
Liam,
Liam's on there too. I don't know what he thinks about that.
your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a good idea, I guess, and also we should be thinking about what we want as well. But yeah.
I would be happy to empower that pre-search committee to do that, kind of come back to us on the commission and say, this is what our thoughts are to line us up. We've been talking about this for years, and we just tell you, we didn't do anything, but we had some stumbles with what we had, and we're blessed to have acting chief Dunn, I love to say Chief Dunn, but acting chief Dunn be here and oversee our fire department, and we should do it for more time, but to get our ducks in a row to do this, I think we need to we did shake some dust off. And
We kicked it down the can too long, and one of the reasons why we did do that is we had the untimely death of the first selectman, that came into play, and then we had nobody in HR that we were able to deal with. I think now is we gotta get this ball rolling.
So
Or you can put it off to December, then.
I wanna get this up, so we have a steering committee chair. Anybody else? I saw your hand be raised, but
I'm happy to volunteer to help us.
terrific. Anybody else wanna volunteer?
Just a qualifying question. Where does the baseline criteria come from? And I'm sure NFPA has some ideas of what they think is an ideal chief. I mean, to a certain degree, the charter tells you where the chief can live, even though I was on that committee. I don't agree with the way that the answer that came out. That we can't change, right? So where do we start with the criteria?
Well, I think that's where we start. And okay, so we have this, and this. We can't change that, but we can do this and we can do this. So I think what we need to do is to start with what you can't change.
Yeah.
And then figure out what you want to add.
I'm in.
Okay. We'll add name to this, then post this meeting if need be. So if you're not raising your hand now, or somebody else, like Commissioner Pitko or Commissioner Cinto or Commissioner Klinga who want to be on this can raise their hand as well.
Yeah, I mean, and any commissioner, you know, if they have ideas or whatever, just should be a no.
Yes.
So pre-search committee and Joe's the chair.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any
Any opposed?
No.
Joseph.
All That would throw a wrench.
I wouldn't say I blame you.
Alright, with great patience and great just being totally professional about this, we have our citizens here, Ms. Cummings, and I didn't catch your name.
Sue Camarda.
Sue Camarda, who are gonna be here. They've been reaching out to originally former Commissioner Brennan about just concerns around playing somewhat into your presentation, so it's good timing. Just about with the future of the town and buildings going up and what could possibly response times is. Ms. Cummings has been a longtime resident of the beach area and has some concerns. I was delayed getting back to you, so I apologize, but we put it on the agenda 2 months ago. We discussed it. And she just had some comments to prepare remarks, not realizing that we're not gonna solve anything tonight. We wanna continue this conversation and maybe we're gonna learn a couple of things as well. That we as commissioners then could, opine on ourselves and talk about and then build upon that possibly if there's solutions down the road. So without further ado, take the floor from us.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the fire department for everything they do in the beach area and all over town, but I've been a beach area resident for 35 years and the 90s were interesting for clam jam, spam jam, and so on. And you guys have done a remarkable job answering the need, especially of beach residents. So thank you very much for everything you guys do for us because it's a very busy area. And I think they should supply you with your bathrooms. You should ask the universities for donations. So there are currently at least 450 houses on Fairfield Beach Road, 100 on Reef Road. So that's 550. That results in obviously thousands of people, not hundreds. So you double, triple, quadruple. If you're a student, there could be 5, 6 in each of those houses. So we're talking thousands of people. Reef Road is currently the main evacuation route in this case of an emergency. The reason that Reef Road is being used more than Beach Road is at the end of Roland Road. We have a walkthrough to the beach. It's the lowest part on Fairfield Beach, all the way from the marina down to the other end. And so it acts like a funnel. There's no tidal gates or anything. So what happens is once the tide breaks over in a superstorm, a nor'easter, whatever, you can't get across to get to Beach Road. So Reef Road is the only evacuation route for thousands of people at the beach area. What we're asking, there's a group of us that we're coming before you as emergency management. What we'd like to see is maybe an impact statement or a study or risk management that could be done and then made available to the town. So we could help them make informed decisions, which would include your input when they're making decisions on, let's say TPZ's making a decision on housing on an evacuation route. They need all the pieces. They don't have emergency management piece at all, unless they ask you to come in, which can be voted down, it depends. So we were asking, because you guys have history of Sandy, Irene, the nor'easters, everything about the beach area and the difficulties that we're going to be facing with climate change, increased density, population, everybody, especially students, all have cars in the beach area. So the concern is getting thousands of people going down Reef Road to get out, and it may be in a moment's notice. A lot of people were like, well, you have plenty of time. That's not always the case. For instance, Hurricane Sandy came at 9 a.m. I got flooded. It was supposed to be 9 p.m. So I thought I had 12 hours to get out and get my family out. I didn't, I had seconds to get out. So our concern is that there isn't kind of a report or a study or information we can share with the town that says, look, you're asking, so thousands of people are exiting Reef Road. Emergency services is coming in to Reef Road in case there are emergencies, fires like Nor'easter. The house next to me, the propane tank ripped off and it hit a live wire and the house blew up. And the fire department was trying to get in and everybody else is trying to get out. So what we're asking for is some information so that TPZ can make informed decisions and not create a community of high density on evacuation routes where then you guys are responsible for cleaning up the mess because you can't get in or you can't get people out. So I don't want you influencing TPZ. I just wanted some emergency management point of view. If you're gonna put hundreds, 100, 200, 500 new residents with cars on one street, that's the only evacuation route for the beach area, what problems do you foresee that causing?
Chief Cronin, in the process as the fire marshal, how much influence does TPZ, do they ask you early on?
It's all them until the building is approved. I don't have any input.
Until the building's approved.
Until TPZ makes a decision on whatever the land use is going to be, I have no.
So some of the difficulty is that, of course, we as emergency service people say, you know, we don't want big projects where they'd be overbearing to us because as we show, some of our staffing is not really what we would really like. The problem is when we get in front of the lawyers is they say, well, show us some data. So as you did mention study, that's the type of thing that we would need. A group that could do a study, we're not capable of producing that in-house because none of us are experts on traffic control or things like that. But I mean, maybe that's the way to start is on a study. And if we can get maybe risk management I don't know if there's a fund that could fund it. We don't really have a fund in the fire department to fund studies. But, or if all of you got together and funded a study, but I know it's probably not easy for you. That's a burden for you. If you could show data, as opposed
I wonder if would be through emergency management, if there would be grant money available from a federal level for a study.
I don't know of any.
Right, yeah, because we've never dealt with it before.
Yeah.
You may want to look and see if there's some sort of grant money that
Through
could be
FEMA.
applied
Yeah,
for through FEMA.
I was gonna say FEMA, yeah.
Your insurance company might be a route you could go as well.
I would also be careful because like all this stuff exists whether there's a big building there or not, that you might not get insurance anymore,
Right.
right? So like you might win the battle, but lose the war, right? Like they might say, oh, geez, there's a reason why there wasn't houses built here for hundreds of years, And so I understand what you're saying. We don't want big buildings here, right? But I would just be like, if cars are parked behind a big building or they're it's an evacuation route, right? So it's like, I don't know, do we take into account like how many cars are actually, you didn't take into account that for Sandy. It's there's too many cars there now.
Exactly, and what we're looking for is just kind of information and an opinion on the risks of increased density on an evacuation route. Seems silly, more people, the more cars, the worse it is. There's gonna be a bottleneck to get out in an emergency. But the rest of the town, building department, TPZs, they don't have that information in front of them. They don't have any one of you coming to the meetings. So our hope was that going forward, when these things come up and neighbors have to fight it, we can turn to page 6 in the emergency management
So
booklet and
that-
say,
that-
increased density is a danger on evacuation routes. I mean,
So for that to come from the fire department, it needed to go into the budget 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and the answer would have been no, because
for us,
he lost 30,000. I've been trying to get, so he said like, do we want a new firehouse? One of the things when I joined this commission, is like, I wanna be the guy who gets a new firehouse here. When was the last firehouse built? It's where the Jets lost the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, right?
1969 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
what's the
when-
name of it? Okay.
I think the Mets won the
Will you
World
stop with the Mets?
And so the Jets. No, but we thought we were gonna get done, and it's like 40 grand. It's like not like to and
We're not asking for money though.
we were told you need money to fund that study.
The study could be, I think that the thing is, the study couldn't be done internally, right? But I guess my question is, is there some grand plan to add 100, 200 houses on
Yes.
Beach Road?
Yes, on Reef Road, yes,
On Reef Road?
yes.
Who has that plan?
Well, there's one going up now. There's one.
We're fighting, we have a neighbor group, we're fighting the 45 unit apartment building for Reef Road across from Vets Park. We've been fundraising, and we're appealing the decision, which would put, 45 times 4 college students.
So it's about
Each
160
120, 160 extra
What's the
cars.
plan for the one next to the old military property?
Yeah, we don't know that one yet, because we didn't fight that one. We're fighting one that has just gotten, I feel like it's like raising money, getting organized.
I went
it's
by
not
and
our full-time job.
I know, but
Yeah,
they leveled that house, and I looked at
yeah.
the lot and went, oh boy.
The red house, yeah. The other thing is TPZ passed a new zoning, the guy we're fighting, the developer we're fighting, also got approved, not only the building, but also a zone change to Reef Road that said they can build apartment buildings with only 5 feet setbacks and go up 60 feet. TPZ approved that, but they didn't have any input from emergency management. So that means that builder, let's say we win our appeal on 812 and 820 Reef Road, that means he can go to 400 and 600 and 21, and he can do a 60-foot,
Because now he's permanently changed the
change the zoning.
Does that having to do with 830G's power to?
Yes.
Is it 830 or is it
So-
800?
Well, it's
Have you talked to any of our-
830G and HB 5002 is the newest one.
Our local representatives said what?
Two of our zoning commissioners voted it down and said they'd like emergency management at a meeting to give their opinion on what it would be on the evacuation route. And the other 5, the 2 women asked for emergency management, and the 4 men voted them down on that. And they voted through.
Elections have consequences.
Yes.
So my question, we have evacuation route signs up, someone had to put it.
Right. With the thermostat that says how the.
I think that was engineering. I think
Well,
it's
then
DPW.
that's where you-
That was actually done by emergency management
Whoever put up
probably
the
25 years
emergency
ago.
evacuation routes
Engineering's,
didn't just say,
Yeah.
this looks like a good street, I'm hoping, right? They figured out elevations
They
and
did.
when it would flood. So if that's engineering, then I would assume that engineering would be the one to talk about, okay, well, that's what this road can handle, because that's also who decides how wide roads are and, right? So.
I actually emailed engineering and he emailed me the maps that show that Reef Road is the evacuation route, but he wasn't able to give me any other information.
Yeah, I'm gonna get, I would try and work back and see what whoever drew up that plan has got your stamp on it, whether it's the Army Corps of Engineers, FEMA, or whatever FEMA used to be when that went up.
I think some of the flood maps are derivative out of NOAA. I think NOAA has a lot to do with
But
it.
it could be, or it could be a state agency that says, it could be DEP that says,
That was done when Dick Holmes was the director of emergency management. That's how far back that goes. That's when that was done.
I was there.
that's who plans those things out.
Would they give an opinion to our town saying
I don't-
increased density, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
they might have the data that you need that
Yes,
says,
that's
hey, when
what-
you
yeah,
have
you
this
need the
many
data.
people in a road that's this wide, then you don't have an evacuation road. I would, if you really wanted to research, I would call down to like Miami. They're really good at it. That's who, I remember when Sandy was coming in, that's who we called, said, what are we supposed to do?
Where?
Miami,
Miami-Dade.
because they do it all the time, right? So they're
Yeah,
constantly
okay, I got what you're
evacuating
saying.
people, they're
Right.
constantly.
Yeah.
with-
okay, so we need the data, we need grant money.
Just for this room, and I don't wanna say
This
we're in a
group, we can't get an opinion.
Well, we would need data for that, right?
Okay.
And I tried to get data on a new fire station several years ago, and we had to submit it, we thought, because there was like the whole fighting between. And it got pushed off of the select person's agenda, they killed it. So like, and I don't wanna,
You have mine for free.
I was, yeah, you know, I know that, and I remember how much I was excited when you did that, I was like, I finally got something here. My point is, the town just took how much from your maintenance budget,
20,000.
right? So,
They're not gonna fund a study, I get that.
well, no, I mean, I think if you like, you're getting ideas, there's people who want to see you succeed here. And you're getting ideas, I would follow up them, you know, maybe email Bill and be like, hey, who's this exact person, email. But like, the fire department's not the people to do that. If somebody's saying we want somebody from the fire department or emergency management to be at a meeting, like, let them know, cause Chief Dunn's like, they didn't call me, right? And so they're kind of playing you a little bit, I think.
There is some politics. I can tell you that when the 830G fight was going on, I offered myself to everybody that was over there, including the first select person's office at the time. They didn't want me to come in there because they don't like the things I'm saying over there, right? They wanna talk about, oh, this is a bad idea, you can't put these here, it's dangerous. Well, I can tell you why it's dangerous. But my solution to remove the danger is not one they want, so we're not gonna
Right.
talk about the
And
danger
that's why
there.
they didn't invite you guys
Yes.
to come
There's
into
this-
those,
It wasn't,
votes.
I'm sure that it was on purpose.
Yeah.
That someone wasn't included.
okay, but I appreciate the feedback. I'm gonna take your suggestions. We can look for grant money, we can talk to agencies, NOAA, DEEP, cause DEEP has already written a letter condemning it.
But the local one here is DPW, you said, right? Or who does the evacuation?
Engineering.
Engineer.
Engineering.
We think
I'll go
it's
back to
engineering.
him. He was very nice, so I did
Even if
speak
you
to
just
him.
wanna know where they got their original one, they probably didn't do it themselves.
So even if you say like, you came to the fire commission, there was a recommendation, I come back to you, it just puts more validity, I'm sorry,
Okay, thanks, yeah.
more validity to what you're saying, you're actually doing this, right?
Yeah.
We're all trying to cooperate together.
Right, cause we're looking towards the future. Like I said, we can't use any of this information for the fight we're fighting now. However, with the zone change on that evacuation route, and you were talking about this, so you're talking about unlimited 60-feet buildings filled with students and everybody has a car,
Transient,
nightmare waiting to
transient
happen.
occupants are dangerous occupants.
Of course. You know, and so if you start looking at how many they can do on that evacuation route, and then God forbid, Sandy, Northeast or whatever comes in, and it comes in earlier than predicted, and we're all trying to exit one road, I don't know what will happen. So thank you for listening to us.
No,
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming and
Thank you. Thank you.
bring information to us and come back again, like, you know.
Okay.
It's sad, and I don't wanna get political here, but it seems like there's no common sense on some of these boards. There really isn't. It's like, what are you thinking about?
Right.
You know, I get mad, you're talking about transient people and stuff. Well, my family goes back to Fairfield and Southport for close to 90 years. We've been here. And, you know, the changes that we've seen is just,
It's troubling.
it is. And I'm not
like you
saying
said,
it needs to be
common sense.
farmlands with sheep still.
No, I know, but
You know.
common sense is you don't put, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people on an evacuation route because emergency services can't get in and the people can't get out. I mean, like we said, I to even have to have a study is ridiculous because it is common sense, but
And the town should be looking at it from the town standpoint, not from a developer standpoint.
Right.
They need to look at it the town standpoint, you know, and I asked, every time I ask a politician the same question. As a 65+ resident here, what good does it to me and the town by increasing the population of the town? Nobody can answer that question. It taxes the fire department, it taxes the police department, it taxes the utilities.
Wait till you see the board bed budget go up.
And
School system.
and now they're talking drought conditions, we don't have enough water coming in.
And we have all those dried phragmites behind my house, at least behind Vets Park.
Yeah, they burn real quick and that's it.
Exactly, they're gonna burn. We're always afraid of fire
Yeah,
there.
It's just, I just don't get it, but okay, I'm down off of myself.
No, we're with you, it's very frustrating,
last
it's an
time I'm
uphill
making-
battle.
Any other comments on,
Thank you very much.
Ms. Cummings' presentation?
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You did a great job and keep the drum, because when something bad does happen, at least just like I said, you'll be able to point some fingers.
Thank you guys for hearing us.
Public comments?
The firehouse on the beach side, that's.
Anything to consider and act on any other business which shall properly come before this meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Leo, I gotta hear you.
He's still there, but.
Hi.
Cancel that meeting.